The late afternoon sun cast long shadows over Elm Street in Cedar Falls, Iowa, a sleepy town where the hum of cicadas usually drowned out any trouble. 9-year-old Mia Bennett clutched a small paper bag from the corner store, 2 candy bars and a soda. Her reward for good grades, her sneakers tapping a steady rhythm on the cracked sidewalk. Beside her trotted Titan, her German Shepherd, his black and tan coat gleaming, his amber eyes scanning their surroundings with a quiet alertness most folks mistook for calm. To Mia, he was her shadow, her confidant, to the unaware, just a big dog. That illusion shattered when the roar of motorcycle engines ripped through the stillness. 5 bikers rounded the corner. Their Harleys snarling like beasts unleashed, leather jackets emblazoned with the skull and snake patch of the Iron Vipers. Leading them was Cole "Razor" Hawkins, a wiry man in his 40s. His face carved with a scar from ear to chin, a badge from a bar fight he'd won with a broken bottle. His cold gray eyes locked on Mia, a smirk twisting his lips. "Well, looky here," he called, cutting his engine as the others circled her like vultures. Little girl all alone, except for that mutt. Mia froze, her heart hammering, the bag slipping in her sweaty grip. The Iron Vipers had been a plague on Cedar Falls for months: extortion, drugs, fear, but they'd never struck this close to home. Titan stepped forward, head low, a growl rumbling deep in his chest. Cole laughed, oblivious to the shift in the dog's stance, the coiled precision of a trained K9 slipping into combat mode. "Cute," he sneered, nodding to his crew. "Grab her. Dog gets feisty. Put it down." What happened next would burn itself into Cedar Falls' memory forever. Mia wasn't like other kids. Born with a sensory processing disorder, she experienced the world in vivid extremes: sounds too loud, lights too bright, but she saw details others missed, her hazel eyes catching subtleties in a way that felt almost superhuman. Her auburn hair hung in a messy ponytail she'd tied herself, a badge of her stubborn independence. She didn't talk much, her words few but deliberate, yet her bond with Titan was unspoken and unbreakable, a lifeline in a chaotic world. Titan's story began far from Cedar Falls, in the K9 training yards of the Iowa State Police. At 90 pounds, he'd been a prodigy, fearless, sharp, paired with Officer Tom "Hawk" Larson, a veteran handler with a knack for turning dogs into legends. Together, they'd racked up busts, meth labs, armed robbers, until a raid 4 years back went sideways. Ambushed in a derelict barn, Hawk shoved his rookie partner to safety, taking a shotgun blast that ended him. Titan, wounded in the leg, stood over Hawk's body, snarling at medics until backup dragged him away. The trauma lingered, flashes of aggression that got him retired, slated for a needle until Mia's dad stepped in. Officer Ben Carter was a beat cop with a soft spot for lost causes. At 42, his dark hair was graying, his broad shoulders hunched from years of carrying Cedar Falls burdens. The town had been his haven, a grid of tidy homes, a brick courthouse, and fields stretching to the horizon, until the mill closed, jobs dried up, and the opioid wave hit. The Iron Vipers slithered in, preying on despair, and Ben's outreach program for at-risk teens was his fight to stem the tide. That morning, he'd met Jake Sullivan, a Marine vet with a Bronze Star and a heroin habit, offering him rehab over jail. "You fought for us," Ben had said. "Let us fight for you." Ben's wife, Claire, a pediatric nurse, had balked at adopting Titan. "He's unpredictable, Ben, dangerous around Mia," she'd argued, her green eyes flashing with worry. But Ben saw something in the dog's haunted gaze when Mia met him at the kennel. She'd slipped past the chain link, ignoring growls that scared off trainers, and sat silently until Titan lay beside her, calm as a lamb. "He's lonely," she'd said, her small hand on his fur. "He needs me." 3 months later, Titan was theirs, her guardian, her anchor through meltdowns, her shadow on quiet walks like today. Claire had sent Mia to the store, a block away. Visible from their porch, after a breakfast meltdown over a missing cereal box. She needs independence, Ben had insisted, clipping a whistle to Mia's necklace. Titan's with her, she'll be fine. He'd watched them go, Mia's hand on Titan's back, the sun glinting off her hair, then returned to his desk, buried in files. Now, unease gnawed at him. Mia was late, 20 minutes past due. His phone buzzed. Claire, she's not back. Where are you? Panic clawed his chest as he grabbed his keys, cursing himself for letting her go alone. Across town, Cole Hawkins leaned against his bike at an old gas station, briefing his crew. Once a Cedar Falls deputy, he'd fallen hard after a bribery bust. Ben's testimony sealed his fate. At 43, his scar and sneer were his currency, leading the Iron Vipers with ruthless precision. Big shipment tonight, he'd told them, flicking ash from a cigarette. Meth and cash, our ticket out. No screw-ups. His second, Travis T-Bone Miller, a hulking ex-con, nodded eagerly. Ethan Klein, the mayor's spoiled son, fidgeted, his rich kid rebellion clashing with his crew cut and viper patch. Jake Sullivan, the strung-out vet, stared at the ground, hands shaking. Look out at the bridge, Cole barked at Jake. Keep it tight. Then Cole spotted Mia crossing Elm Street, Titan at her side. His eyes narrowed, a twisted grin spreading. That's Carter's kid, he muttered. Perfect leverage if he's sniffing too close. Ethan balked. A kid? That's messed up, man. Not kidnapping, Cole snapped, though his tone lied. Just a chat, keep her till the deal's done. Carter backs off, she's home by dawn. He climbed on his bike. Travis, grab her. Rest of you, dog duty. Engines roared as they closed in. Mia felt the rumble before she heard it, the noise spiking her senses into overdrive. She gripped Titan's fur, her breath hitching as the bikes boxed her in. Cole dismounted, swaggering closer. Hey, little Carter, he taunted. Shopping solo? Not smart. Titan's growl deepened, his body shifting into a stance Cole didn't recognize, until it was too late. Titan, guard, Mia whispered, her voice trembling but sure, a command Ben had taught her for emergencies. The effect was electric. Titan surged, jaws snapping onto Travis's arm as he lunged for Mia, dropping him with a howl. Cole froze, hand on his gun, realization dawning. That's no pet, that's a damn K9. The Iron Vipers had walked into a fight they couldn't win, and Cedar Falls would never be the same. The air on Elm Street thickened with dust and tension as Titan pinned Travis T-Bone Miller to the pavement, his jaws locked with surgical precision on the biker's forearm. Blood seeped through leather, Travis's screams piercing the quiet Cedar Falls evening. Get it off me, he bellowed, flailing helplessly against the German Shepherd's 90-pound frame. Mia Bennett stood frozen behind Titan, her hazel eyes wide, clutching her grocery bag as her sensory world spun, engine roars, shouts, the acrid tang of exhaust overwhelming her fragile calm. Cole Razor Hawkins drew his pistol, a battered Glock, his scarred face twisting with rage. Call off your mutt, kid, or I end it. Titan's ears flicked, but his grip held, years of K9 training overriding the threat. He'd faced guns before, trained by Officer Tom Hawk Larson to hold steady under fire. Cole's crew faltered, Ethan Klein backing toward his bike, pale and muttering, "This ain't right." Man, while Jake Sullivan, the strung-out vet, stared, hands trembling, conflict flickering in his bloodshot eyes. Titan's a cop dog, Cole snarled, piecing it together. Carter's playing hero again. He aimed at Titan, finger tightening, until Jake stepped in, voice low but firm. Shoot that dog, Razor, and every badge in Iowa's on us. Back off. Cole's glare could have melted steel. You turning on me, soldier? After I dragged you out of the gutter? There's lines, Jake snapped, his marine steel cutting through the haze of withdrawal. She's a kid. Mia's mind raced, her dad's lessons flashing, 3 whistle blasts if you're in trouble. Her shaky fingers found the safety whistle around her neck, and she blew, sharp, piercing bursts slicing through the chaos. Travis thrashed harder, Titan's hold unyielding. My damn arms broke, he yelled. Cole's patience snapped. Enough, grab her. He lunged for Mia, gun swinging wide. Titan released Travis in a blur, launching at Cole with a ferocity that belied his calm exterior moments ago. Teeth grazed Cole's hand, forcing the Glock to skid across the asphalt as he stumbled back, cursing. Shoot it, you idiots. Ethan froze, hands up. I'm out, Razor, I'm not jailbait for this. He kick-started his bike, peeling off in a cloud of dust, abandoning his Viper patch for survival. Jake tackled Cole before he could retrieve the gun, both crashing to the ground in a tangle of fists and leather. Run, kid! Jake shouted, pinning Cole's arm. Take the dog, go! Mia's senses screamed, but Titan pressed against her leg, firm, grounding, a trick he'd learned to pull her from overload. She stumbled back, clutching his collar, the shepherd guiding her retreat as Cole overpowered Jake, landing a brutal elbow to his jaw. You're dead, Sullivan. Cole roared, scrambling for his weapon. Sirens wailed in the distance, Mia's whistle or a witness's 911 call cutting through Cedar Falls' quiet. Cole froze, survival kicking in. Travis, we're gone. Travis, cradling his arm, staggered to his bike, and both roared off, Cole's parting glare at Mia a promise of vengeance. Tell Carter Razor's coming. Jake lay sprawled, blood trickling from his lip, ribs aching from Cole's kick. He looked up as Mia knelt beside Titan, her small hands buried in his fur. You okay, kid? He rasped. She nodded, voice barely audible. You helped. Dad said you might. Jake's brow furrowed, Ben Carter's morning offer echoing, rehab, a fresh start. Tell him I'm in, he said, spitting blood as a police cruiser screeched to a halt. Officer Ben Carter leapt out, his service Glock drawn, face pale as he saw Mia trembling beside Titan. Mia. He dropped to his knees, pulling her into a fierce hug. You hurt? No, she whispered, pointing to Jake. Titan stopped them. He helped. Titan barked once, sharp. Deliberate, the alert signal Hawk had drilled into him. Ben's lips twitched despite the fear clawing his chest, some instincts never faded. Chief Laura Hayes rolled up seconds later. Her weathered face set in grim lines. At 55, she'd led Cedar Falls PD for 12 years, her short gray hair and steely blue eyes a fixture of authority. Iron Vipers? She asked, holstering her weapon as officers cuffed Jake, gently, at Ben's nod. Yeah, Ben said, standing, Mia clinging to his side. Targeted Mia, leverage, I'd bet. Laura's jaw tightened. Ethan Klein confessed, walked into the station. Says Cole's moving a shipment tonight. Wants her safe. She glanced at Jake. This one's yours? Jake Sullivan, Ben confirmed. Saved her. Wants rehab, deal's on. Cedar Falls Medical Center buzzed as Ben paced the waiting room, Claire cradling Mia nearby, Titan at their feet, blood staining his fur from a shallow graze. Travis's knife had landed in the fray. He's hurt, Mia said, her voice steady despite tear tracks. But he saved me. Dr. Ryan Patel emerged, scrubs pristine. Sullivan stable, cracked ribs, concussion. Wants to talk. Ben followed him to Jake's bedside, the vet's bruised face pale but resolute. Coals hitting the evidence vault, Jake rasped. Tonight, 9 p.m., inside man. Johansson case diamonds. He's got your codes, Carter bragged about it. Ben's blood ran cold. The Johansson bust, his case, a dealer smuggling gems and furniture, held millions in unlogged diamonds. He said he'd take what you love, Jake added. Meant Mia. Ben stormed back, mind racing. Laura, station's compromised, lock it down. The hospital lights flickered, then died, 3 seconds of darkness before generators hummed. Titan surged up, growling, as Cole Hawkins burst through the ER doors, pistol raised, a detonator in his other hand. Travis and 2 Vipers flanked him, helmets down. Nobody moves. Cole roared. Eyes wild, pupils blown, meth, Ben clocked instantly. Carter, front and center, or I blow this place sky high. He waved the detonator, a bluff, Mia realized, her sharp eyes spotting its garage door opener shape. She whispered to Claire, he's pretending. Ben stepped forward, gun steady. What's the play, Cole? Evidence vault, diamonds, Cole sneered. Call off your dogs, get me in. Or your kid's collateral. Titan tensed, awaiting Ben's word. Mia felt his readiness, her trust absolute. Titan, protect, Ben commanded. The Shepherd launched, a blur of muscle and fury, crashing Cole through the doors. Gun and fake detonator flying. Ben tackled Travis, chaos erupting as staff dove for cover. Titan pinned Cole outside, teeth on his arm, unyielding. The fight wasn't over, but the Viper's reign was crumbling. Cedar Falls Hospital's ER parking lot glowed under flickering emergency lights as Titan held Cole, Razor, Hawkins down, his jaws clamped on the biker's arm with unrelenting precision. Blood streaked the pavement, Cole's meth-fueled thrashing useless against the German Shepherd's training. Inside, Officer Ben Carter wrestled Travis T-Bone Miller to the ground. Cuffing him as hospital security swarmed the remaining Iron Vipers, their surrender swift under drawn guns. Mia Bennett clung to her mom, Claire, her hazel eyes tracking Titan through the chaos. Her small hand tight on her whistle. Cole, wild-eyed, yanked a boot knife with his free hand, slashing at Titan's flank. Release! Ben shouted, drawing his Glock. Titan leapt clear. The blade nicking his hind leg, blood spraying. Cole staggered up, knife raised, snarling, should have put that mutt down years ago. Ben fired, 2 shots, center mass, dropping Cole mid-lunge. The knife clattering beside his lifeless body. Suspect down. Ben radioed, rushing to Titan, pressing his jacket to the wound. Good boy, hold on. Chief Laura Hayes stormed in, directing officers to secure the scene. Stations locked down, inside man's Matthews, desk sergeant. Caught him with the vault keys. Ben nodded, grim. Jake called it, Johansson diamonds. Claire raced out with trauma gear, kneeling beside Titan. Deep cut, no artery, stable for transport. Sirens wailed as backup arrived, the night fracturing into controlled chaos. Mia broke free, kneeling by Titan, heedless of the blood soaking her jeans. You saved us, she whispered, her hand on his head. We'll save you. The Cedar Falls Veterinary Clinic hummed with urgency as Ben carried Titan inside. Claire and Mia trailing. Dr. Sarah Klein, Ethan's aunt, a vet with a steady hand, met them with a gurney. Knife wound, right hind, Claire reported, nurse sharp. 6 inches. Deep, significant blood loss. Sarah nodded, barking orders, or 2, full panel, for units of blood. As Titan was wheeled away, Mia grabbed Sarah's arm. He has to fight, she said, voice fierce. I need him. Titan licked her hand, weak but deliberate, before disappearing behind her doors. The waiting room clock crawled, hours stretching as Ben paced. Claire held Mia, and Titan's fate hung in the balance. Laura arrived with files. Cole's history, K9 unit, 7 years back. Hawk Larson's first partner. Hawk testified against him, excessive force. Cole got reassigned, carried the grudge. Took over Hawk's old beat here after the corruption bust. Ben's gut twisted. He knew Titan, recognized him with Mia. This was revenge. Not just leverage. More, Laura said, handing him a journal. Cole's notes, 2 years ago, he rigged Titan's rehab tests to fail. Wanted him dead for replacing him with Hawk. Before Ben could process, a man entered, Mark Travis, 50s, weathered, eyes heavy with guilt. I'm ex-DEA, he said. Undercover during Hawk's raid. Cole fed the cartel intel, set the ambush. I tipped off backup, stopped them killing Titan. Saw it on the news, had to come. He offered a photo, Titan over Hawk's body, bloodied, defiant. He saved me too, knew I wasn't a threat. Ben stared, the pieces locking tight, Cole's vendetta spanning years, targeting Hawk, Titan, and now him through Mia. Sarah emerged, scrubs bloodied. Titan's alive, critical. Artery nicked, femur fractured, muscles shredded. 4 hours of surgery, 6 units of blood. Next 24 hours decided. Can we see him? Mia asked, steady despite tears. Sarah led them to recovery. Titan lay under blankets. Tubes snaking from his bandaged leg, monitors beeping faintly. Mia touched his head. You're the bravest. Come back. His tail twitched, slight, but real. At 3 a.m., Titan crashed, heart erratic. Oxygen plunging. Sarah's team fought, compressions, drugs, until the monitor steadied. He's back, she said, exhausted. Resilient as hell. Dawn broke with hope, his vitals strengthening. Mia's faith unshaken. 2 weeks later, Cedar Falls exhaled. The Iron Vipers collapsed, Jake's testimony and Ethan's confession dismantling their network. Mayor Klein funded rehab programs. Penance for his son's sins. At the Carter home, Titan rested on a donated orthopedic bed, his leg in a harness Mark Travis crafted, military grade, aiding his slow rebuild. Ben knelt by him after a shift, the department purging Cole's corruption. 80% function, maybe, Claire said, watching Mia study flashcards beside Titan. He'll be enough. Mia replied. He's Titan. That night, Ben found Mia asleep by Titan's side, the shepherd awake, eyes meeting his, a silent vow to guard her always. From a scarred K9 to a family savior. Titan's courage had rewritten their story, and Cedar Falls' future. Lesson from the story. Courage isn't always loud, it's in the quiet strength that stands firm when all seems lost. Titan, a retired K9 with a scarred past, didn't hesitate to protect Mia from ruthless bikers, proving that true heroism shines brightest in the bonds we forge and the battles we fight for those we love. This tale shows us that even the broken can rise, that loyalty can outlast pain, and that sometimes the smallest voices, like Mia's, carry the mightiest trust to turn the tide against evil. What do you think? Could a dog like Titan change your life? Have you seen bravery bloom from unexpected places? Share your stories in the comments, we can't wait to hear them. If Mia and Titan's epic stand gripped you, smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more heart-pounding tales. Tell us where you're watching from and what dog hero story you want next. Let's keep the courage roaring.